Don't forget our deal, Kay.
What deal? Just kidding. Blood sisters forever. You help me get my happily ever after with Miguel. I'll do the same for you and Chad.
Right.
You sure Chad's still gonna be here? He said he felt strong enough to move back to his own place.
Yes, Chad's gonna be here. He wouldn't leave without saying goodbye to me.
Well, what is it you have to tell me?
You said there's something you need to tell me, too. You first.
Hello?
I knew you'd be up, Julian.
It's late, Father. Why didn't I call you in the morning?
Because I want to speak to you now. Thanks to your incredible ineptitude, we've got a lot to attend to.
What now, Father?
You really need ask? Name it, you bollocksed it up. I'd give anything to know what it's like to have a son I could depend on.
I've had a very long day, Father. If you only called to rake me over the coals...
Oh, stop being Susie sensitive and tell me what we're going to do about Ethan's wedding to Gwen.
I already did. The wedding will take place as planned. There's nothing to be concerned about.
Even though you've acted like an asinine blunderbuss for months trying to push Ethan on the housekeeper's daughter?
I suggested he sleep with her, not marry her.
No excuses. Ethan's marriage to Gwen ensures a financial merger between our two families, the likes of which the Nasdaq's never seen. If anything threatens their union, Julian, I'll hold you personally responsible. You'll be finished, Julian. As in, you'd wish you'd never been born.
I know it's late, sweetheart, but I thought you'd want to know about Daddy.
Yeah, so how is he?
Much better. Turns out it wasn't a heart attack at all, just a very bad case of indigestion.
Well, you must be relieved.
Oh, we are. In fact, Mother's here with me right now. Ethan, would you mind very much if I put you on speakerphone so she can hear you firsthand?
Well, no, but...
Darling, I'm so sorry, but she's been very upset since she saw you with Teresa at the hospital.
Somehow I got that.
Would you mind telling me that everything's just perfect between us so Mother can hear? I know this is ridiculous, but she won't let go of the wild idea that you're suddenly going to back out of the wedding.
You told Teresa that you love her?
I couldn't keep it from her any longer.
What about Gwen? I mean, the wedding, it's only a week away.
I'm calling the wedding off. I mean, I can't marry Gwen now. I mean, I love Teresa. It just wouldn't be right.
Are you going to tell her what you told me?
I don't know.
Be a dear and tell me how desperate you are to marry me so Mother can get a good night's sleep.
Well, I am as surprised as you are, mijo. But according to Teresa, Ethan loves her so much he's calling off his wedding to Gwen Hotchkiss.
I mean, I knew Ethan told Teresa he loved her, but I figured it was just so she wouldn't die.
Well, it seems that it was more than that. And now your sister is so happy and excited, she's determined to tell Luis the entire story.
But Luis hates Ethan. I mean, he doesn't even know Teresa's ever met him. You know, if he finds out about this, someone's gonna get hurt.
And that's why I'm afraid. I just pray to God Teresa doesn't find Luis before we can talk some sense into her.
Okay, sis. You held out on your big brother long enough. Now it's time to tell me who's got your heart doing flip-flops and your eyes doing the Irish jig. This guy must be something.
He is Luis. He's the most wonderful man in the world. I love him, and he loves me.
Okay. Are you gonna tell me Mr. Wonderful's name?
I would hold the hand of the one who could lead me places, and kiss the lips of the one who could sing so sweet. And I would fly on the wings of the bird
something that I wanted to say for a
I
while.
knew you'd still be here. Kay said you'd probably go back to your own place, but I said you wouldn't.
No. I came back here with Whitney after we saw Teresa home from the hospital.
It's great they let her out already. How are you feeling?
I mean, I'm pretty good. You know, I'm just waiting for your moms to give me a clean bill of health so I can stop being a burden to you guys.
You could never be that. Where are Mom and Dad?
They're not home yet.
You mean you two are all alone?
Well, we just got here, and I'm sure Mom and Dad will be coming through the door any second, Kay.
Same as I always do, helping you with Chad. Go make him something fabby to eat.
I don't even know if he's hungry.
Guys are always hungry. Surprise him.
So, what was it you were about to say?
Father, you're making too much out of a few playful remarks I made to my own son.
If that's all it were, I wouldn't be wasting my time with you right now, Julian. According to Ivy, you were boorish enough to warn Gwen that her fiancé was certain to be unfaithful to her?
Oh, so what? I suggested that Ethan might consider a prenup romp in the hay with a tempting Teresa. He takes after his old man, just as I take after mine. It's practically a Crane tradition to keep a little cupcake on the side. Lord knows we don't marry for pleasure in this family, although I must say, Ethan seems genuinely fond of Gwen for some inexplicable reason.
You better hope your son didn't pay one whit of attention to his imbecile father. Teresa Lopez Fitzgerald is clearly more than a little cupcake. If Gwen feels the least bit threatened by her, she's apt to call off the wedding entirely.
Rest easy, Father. I've covered all of our bases. Just tonight, I sent Gwen a couple of wedding gifts. Mother's pearl necklace and grandmother's diamond brooch.
They're priceless heirlooms.
Precisely. And if they're not enough to reassure Gwen's busybody mother about the wedding, I don't know what is.
Well, perhaps. It's certainly the first intelligent thing you've done in recent memory. Though I do hope you realize if the wedding is called off, getting those jewels back from Rebecca will be like prying raw meat loose from the mouth of a lion.
Trust me, Father, everything is under control.
Trust you? That would make me a bigger fool than you.
Ethan is a very bright young man. He's a real chip off the old block. He would never do anything to jeopardize the merger between the Cranes and the Hodgkiss families. You have my word on it.
Gwen, why don't I come over to your place?
Oh, darling, of course you know I'd love to see you, but I'm absolutely done in. Can it wait till tomorrow?
She wants to wait till tomorrow.
Maybe a good night's sleep would be good for both of you.
Tomorrow morning, then, first thing.
Can't wait. And Ethan, please be an angel and just forget everything that my mother said about Teresa. She's just the nervous mother of the bride-to-be.
Right.
And just so we don't have a repeat of tonight, let's make a pact, okay? Nobody utters Teresa's name until after the wedding. And that goes double for you, Mother. Oh, just a second, darling. Someone's at the door. Come in.
Oh,
These just came for you, Miss Hotchkiss.
Oh, thank you, Darla.
I'll take those, Darla.
Ethan, we just got 2 more wedding presents.
They're from Julian.
Oh! Oh, my goodness. Okay. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, they're exquisite. Have you ever?
Oh, Ethan, your father, he just gave me the most exquisite, incredible strand of pearls.
Oh, I would know these anywhere. These belong to Ethan's grandmother.
Oh.
What a thoughtful gift.
Here, let's open this one.
Oh, my goodness, look at this antique brooch.
Ethan, it's all made of diamonds. It's all diamonds. You should see it.
A diamond brooch?
That must be my grandmother's. I don't believe Julian.
This is just gonna make it harder for Gwen when I tell her that the wedding's off.
Ethan, are you there?
Yes. Well, I'm glad that you like the gifts.
Well, they're exquisite. I love them. I will be the envy of every woman we know.
Oh, and just a little postscript from your future mother-in-law, Ethan. I apologize for thinking the wedding wasn't going to happen. You and your father have more than convinced me that I was wrong. I can't wait for our two families to become one.
I better go, darling. I love you.
I love you too, Gwen. I'll see you in the morning, first thing.
Can't wait. Night, darling. I love you.
How the hell am I gonna tell Gwen that there's not gonna be a wedding?
I'll tell you his name in a second. First, I want to tell you what he's like.
Well, hold on. Let me guess. He's got eyes like DiCaprio, a smile like Clooney, and a build
Please,
like...
this is serious.
All right.
Now, he is absolutely gorgeous, but that's not why I love him. He's attentive and sweet, and I have never met anyone more caring and sensitive.
Okay. Sounds okay so far.
Okay. He's perfect, Louise. He's the man of my dreams, and I just found out that he feels the same way about me as I feel about him.
Okay, so is he from around here?
He was born in Harmony.
Well, then I must know him. Did you grow up with him? Did you go to school with him?
No, not exactly. He's not from this neighborhood.
No. Well, you know, that could work in his favor. Most of the chumps around here, they can't even afford to pay attention. But tell me, he's got a job, right? I mean, at least part-time.
Well, that's not a problem for him because his family has money.
Oh. Well, that might not be such a big strike against him, you know, as long as he's not one of those rich kids who never learned the value of hard work.
Just because a person is born with money doesn't mean they're not decent people who share the same values.
All right, hold on. Just excuse me a second, okay? No, I think that I've been around a little bit longer than you, okay? And the rich people that I've come in contact with are very different from you and me. Take the Cranes. I still wish someone would take them on a long walk off a short pier. Alistair, Julian, your childhood crush, Ethan.
That's not fair, Louise. You don't even know Ethan Crane.
And you do? Now, I just hope that this guy you're falling for isn't anything like that slime ball.
How can you judge someone by their last name? I mean, people from opposite side of the tracks, they meet, they fall in love, even marry every day.
Yeah, but that's on daytime TV, and it never ends up well. And why are you suddenly defending the Cranes? Why are you sticking up for the Cranes? And how did we get on them anyway? I thought you wanted to tell me about this guy that you were involved with.
I do, Louise. You're making this really hard.
Was that Luis?
Ay, Dios mío. I hope Teresa hasn't told Luis that Ethan loves her.
Promise me you won't get mad.
Why would I? What's going on here?
Hey, guys. What's up?
Hey. Nothing. Teresa and I are just having a little brother-sister one-on-one.
It sounded like you were arguing. Why don't you come inside so the neighbors don't hear your business?
It's fine by me.
What were you arguing about?
Oh, you weren't. Somehow we just got on my least favorite topic of all, and Teresa got all bent out of shape when I started telling her the truth about the Crane clan.
Oh, perhaps you should stay on a subject you both agree on.
This is important, Mama. Louise, if the Cranes are so evil, then what about you and Sheridan?
What about us?
Her last name is Crane, and I know that you like her a lot.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh no? Then how is it that the two of you were getting really close a few months ago when something happened and she took off for Paris? I know that broke your heart.
Easy, Teresa.
And then when she came back, you spent nearly every waking minute with her. Anybody with eyes can see how much you care about her.
Look, Teresa, you don't know anything about it, all right?
Luis, she didn't mean to bring up a sore subject.
Well, I'm glad she did. I'd almost forgotten why things didn't work out between Sheridan and me back then. You know, one minute I'm starting to trust her with my thoughts, my feelings, my whole damn life. Then bam, she takes off to Paris. No explanation. Can't have a relationship with someone like that.
Please, just forget what I said. You and Sheridan are doing great again.
That's funny you should say that. Yeah, I thought so too after some major things went down tonight, but now you just reminded me how blind I've been. There's no way anything serious could ever happen between me and Crane.
I've been shooting my mouth off about Gwen and Teresa, and you haven't gotten a word in edgewise about Luis.
There really isn't much to say.
Well, I know better than that. I mean, with Luis's help, you got to the root of your nightmare tonight. So how does that make you feel about him?
Mixed up. One minute I think he's a stubborn, opinionated jerk, and I ask myself, how can I trust someone who hates our family as much as he does?
Well, and then what?
Well, then the next I see a whole other side to him. He's caring, generous, sensitive. How am I supposed to feel when I don't even really know who he is?
But you're definitely drawn to him.
Like no other man I've ever known. You know what, though? I don't want to talk about this now. What's more important is you leveling with Gwen in the morning.
Well, I know Gwen's gonna be hurt when I tell her that there's not gonna be a wedding. I just hope she understands that it's the right thing to do.
Don't keep me hanging. Just tell me what it was you were about to say.
What time did you say your mom would be home?
Any minute, I guess. But do you even really care?
Simone asked me to sleep over. I want to make sure it was okay with your folks.
Well, you know you can. You sleep here as much as you sleep at your own house. But I guess I better check the machine just to make sure.
You haven't forgotten you kissed Simone and told her you loved her, have you?
No, of course not. But I told you how that happened.
Sure, but it'll break Simone's heart if you tell her it didn't mean anything. I'm so afraid it'll affect her eating disorder.
You positive that she got a problem with that? Because I personally have never seen it.
Are you kidding? You should have seen her at the barbecue we just came from. She told everybody she wasn't hungry, but I called her pigging out all by herself. I asked her about it and she denied it, but I'm worried about her, Chad. Now, do you believe me? She's getting ready to stuff her face again. If you tell Simone you don't love her, I don't want to think what she's gonna do.
You okay?
Oh, I'm great.
Yeah? I mean, you sure? Listen, Kay told me what you was up to in here.
She did?
Yeah.
Well, I just thought maybe you'd be hungry.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I could use a bite. How about you?
I don't think so. You can have both.
Could I talk to you for a minute, Whitney? It's kind of important.
Sure. What is it?
Have you heard the rumor about Tiffany Thomas?
She's the girl that hangs out at the book cafe sometimes. I barely know her.
Apparently she's pregnant.
Wow. I mean, she's really young. Does she have a boyfriend or anything?
No, she doesn't have one. The boy who got her pregnant isn't even talking to her now. He's acting like he barely knows her.
Oh, poor thing. Well, I wonder who the guy is that turned his back on her. Anybody that we know?
That's the worst part. They're saying it's Chad.
You know, how could I let things get so screwed up?
Don't blame yourself, Ethan. Love's not one of those things you can plan.
Yeah, but all the years I've known Gwen, I never had a moment's doubt that I would marry her and have children. I mean, sure, I've looked at women from time to time, but that never meant anything. I was in love with Gwen.
Till Teresa.
It's coming. It just crept up on me.
I know the feeling.
Damn it.
Oh, it'll work, Ethan. Somehow it'll work.
Do you like a rose?
Oh, no, leave it. Luis's father planted those roses for Pilar so she'd always remember how much he loved her.
Really? I didn't know.
I wonder if I'll ever know what it's like to be loved like that.
I didn't mean to upset you, Luis.
Oh, it's okay. I really needed to be reminded that nothing's ever gonna happen between me and Sheridan anyway.
Hey, you don't know that for sure. You know, I mean, nobody knows what the future's gonna bring.
I do. Because in this case, what might have been already happened. No, I just conveniently let it slip my mind for a while. And there's something about Sheridan that just makes me stupid, I guess. You know, I just didn't want to see that she was a Crane. I didn't want to face the fact that the last time I opened my heart up to her, she just hung it out to dry. Hey, well, look, this isn't your fault, sis, all right? So, tell me about this guy who's falling for my beautiful sister.
Luis, maybe later.
No, this is important. Teresa, you know, just because this guy was born with a few bucks, you know, that doesn't make him bad. That doesn't mean he's a jerk like Ethan Crane. Who is he?
Do you like it?
I'll have you know, that was without a doubt the best tasting sandwich I ever had.
Wow. Have the other one.
No. Well, thanks, I'm full.
Okay.
Chad is supposed to be the father of this girl's baby?
That's what people are saying, but you know what gossip's like. You can't always trust it. I just thought you should know. Promise me you won't tell anyone. I was sworn to secrecy, and if the person who told me finds out I blabbed, I'd be in a lot of trouble, okay?
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just not sure that I really believe that it's true.
I didn't believe it when I heard it either, but it's like the person who told me said. You never know with guys.
Yo, Whitney. Your sister just made a couple of great sandwiches. I mean, there's one left in the fridge if you're hungry.
So is it a deal, Mother? No more negative insinuations about Teresa getting in the way of my wedding?
I suppose.
Mother, you just heard Ethan say he loved me on the phone, which means that Teresa is the furthest thing from his mind. So I would really appreciate it if you would never utter her name ever again.
These really are the most exquisite pearls I have ever seen.
Did you just hear a word I said?
I'm not deaf. I mean, maybe I was wrong about Teresa. Maybe we have nothing to fear from her after all. I wonder if Ivy knows that Julian gave you these family treasures. Of course, it is only fitting. because one day you will succeed her as the reigning queen of Harmony Society.
Can you stand it? In just a few days, I'm going to be the envy of every woman we know. God, I can't wait to walk down the aisle and become Mrs. Ethan Crane.
Just wish I knew how Teresa was doing with her brother.
You sure she was going to tell him about you two tonight?
Well, that's what she said.
Well, we haven't heard the explosion from across town, so maybe it hasn't happened yet.
Do you really think it's gonna be that bad?
I'm afraid so. Luis is a great guy, but he's also one of the most hot-headed men I've ever met. I keep trying to tell him how different you are from Julian and Alistair, but he just keeps lumping you in with them.
Then maybe I should go over there. I mean, if Luis is gonna lose it, then it should be with me, man to man. And I don't want him taking his anger out on Teresa.
No, Ethan. This is a family matter between brother and sister. If Teresa had wanted you there, she would have asked you. I mean, you don't want her there when you break the news to Julian and Ivy now, do you?
No, you're right. I just hate to think what Teresa's going through right now.
Come on, who is it? You guys know who it is? Oh, you do know. Fess up, who is it?
Luis, his name's not important, really. But I can tell you that he's a very decent person.
Well, see, I'm impressed. She's got Mama's stamp of approval.
I shouldn't have made it sound like it was such a big deal. We haven't even been on a real date yet.
Well, good. I'll get to meet him before you do.
Luis, I don't think so.
Oh, well, what did I say?
Let me talk to Teresa outside. Come on. What'd you think you were doing, Teresa? You know how Luis feels about Ethan.
I thought if I showed Luis how happy I was, that he might feel differently.
Forget it. All right, you can't tell him what Ethan said. It'll blow this family apart.
I won't let that happen.
Okay, even if we're strong enough to handle this, what about Ethan's end? You know, I don't know his family, but I know that they're gonna freak out if they find out he's calling off the wedding because of you.
I know it won't be easy.
Try impossible. I don't want to burst your bubble, all right? But you gotta see that I'm right. There is no way that it is gonna work out between you and Ethan.
It has to. I love him, and he loves me, and I'm not gonna give him up. Not now, not ever.
What? Hey, why did you tell Chad I was making him something to eat? It was your idea for me to surprise him in the first place.
I know. I forgot. At least I got you two in here alone together.
All right, you're forgiven. He left my sandwich.
See, you're making progress.
I couldn't have done it without you, Kay. I thank you so much.
So what's up?
Nothing.
I think there is. A couple of minutes ago, we was on the verge of something. Now all of a sudden, you giving me the cold freeze. I mean, what'd I do wrong?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, no, I think you do, Whitney. You was about to tell me something. Something that had to do with us.
Well, you're mistaken. Because I don't have anything that I want to say to you.
Look, something's going down here, and I just want to know what it is.
You know, I don't see why anything I may or may not have to say to you should even matter. I'm not your type.
Say what?
You know what? You're wasting your time. Why don't you just go back to your old life? It's obviously where you are most comfortable.
Whatever you say, Whitney. Fine. You want me gone? I'll be out here first thing tomorrow.
Once the wedding takes place, we can turn all our attention back to the Sheridan Luis debacle. It's more imperative than ever that we get Luis off the grounds.
We've already been through this, Father.
Don't interrupt. If we allow him to stay in close proximity to Sheridan, it won't be long before he's back in the main house, rummaging in God knows what. You aren't still keeping that mask in your desk drawer, are you?
Yes. Let's hear it. But I assure you, my drawer's always locked when I'm out. Louise and Sheridan are never going to know what we did.
You'd better hope not. Sheridan's belief that Louise was using her is the only thing keeping them apart.
I repeat, Father, you just have to trust me. We have about as much to worry about with Louise and Sheridan as we do with Ethan and Gwen's marriage.
Well, I am sorry that Teresa feels bad. I'm glad she brought me down to earth. Here I was criticizing her for falling for some rich guy, and I was doing the exact same thing with Sheridan. It's a big mistake. I'm not gonna make it again.
You don't fool me, Luis. I know you're hurting.
Yeah. What's that saying? No pain, no gain. How could I have forgotten that Sheridan blew me off a few months back? For no good reason. She acted like I did something terrible to her, but I'll be damned if I ever figured out what it was.
I know you've asked her.
At least a dozen times. But she never had the decency to tell me what it was I did wrong. Guess I'll go to the grave not knowing what it was.
I take it you got closer again tonight.
Like we were always meant to be together. She gets to me. But I'm not gonna let her burn me again.
Well, I'm relieved. As much as I love Sheridan, no good could come of you being involved with a Crane.
Exactly. And that's why I'm so happy that Teresa got over that stupid crush on Ethan Crane. What are you doing?
Putting some fresh sheets on the sofa for Louise.
What do you think? Louise is coming back tonight?
In a moment now. Maybe you better get out of here.
Sheridan, I'm not afraid of Louise.
I know, but it's been a long day, and the last thing that any of us need is a blow-up.
Thanks for being a good listener. There's nobody else I could talk to about this stuff.
Anytime, but I don't know what help I was to you. I mean, you've already made up your mind about Gwen and Teresa.
Well, still, it means a lot to me that you're on my side.
It goes both ways, you know.
Does it?
Of course.
Then you won't mind if I stick my nose where you might not want it?
Would it stop you if I said yes?
Probably not. It's just that I'm glad you and Louise had a breakthrough tonight.
So am I.
Only I can't help but remember this isn't the first time you felt this way about him. I mean, the last time you opened up to him, he wound up breaking your heart. I'll never forget the look on your face that night when you heard Louise talking to someone down at the wharf.
Cranes have used and abused my family for years. Now I finally got a chance to use one of them. A spoiled princess. Sheridan.
And you were so hurt by his betrayal that you ran off to Paris to get away from him.
I can't believe I've pushed that out of my mind. Luis and I went through so much together. I was really feeling close to him. It's been so long since I've thought about what happened on the wharf that night.
Well, Sheridan, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw cold water on your feelings for Louise. It's just, I don't want you to get hurt again.
No, I'm glad that you reminded me. And I trusted him then, too. I used to say it wouldn't happen all over again. Here I am making his bed for him. Have you ever seen such a fool?
Hey guys, I'm heading up to bed, okay?
Good night.
Kay, if you, happen to run into that girl, Tiffany, would you mind telling her to call me, so I can do anything I can to help, you know?
Sure. What's Chad doing in the living room?
Oh, really care. Good night.
Who's Tiffany?
I don't know what she's.
Go ahead, Ethan. I'll be fine.
You sure? The last thing I wanted was to upset you.
It's better that I'm jolted back to reality now than later, after I've handed Luis my heart. I needed a wake-up call.
You'll find someone who deserves you, Sheridan.
We'll see. Tough I had. At least one of us found love in the Lopez Fitzgerald family.
See, that's why I'm so glad that Teresa's found herself a nice new boyfriend. Now she won't have to make the same mistakes that I have.
Let us hope not.
Well, if you say he's a good guy, I'm sure he is. I just want to meet him before it goes any further.
Well, if you're hell-bent on telling Luis, let me do it.
That's really sweet. But I have to tell Luis about Ethan in my own words.
But you know he's gonna go insane.
I'll handle it. Ethan and I are in this together. And if he can be brave enough to break the news to Gwen, the least I can do is tell my own big brother.
I'm worried for you, Teresa.
Don't be. I was right all along about Ethan loving me, and I am right that I will get through this. After tomorrow, nothing will keep us apart.